Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Tish McIver. I am live and direct hosting Tish Talk Podcast, and I'm coming to you today because we have something for you. I need everybody to hold on to your seats. You may even want to put your seatbelt on because this ride today is going to be phenomenal. I'm so super excited to be in the studio with some powerhouse women. You heard me say it. And I want to really hurry up and cut to the chase. So we're going to talk about some things today that you want to tune into. Again, I am hostess with the mostest, Dr. Tisha McIver, hosting Tish Talk Podcast, episode 1. Let's get to it. Now, in the studio today, I have some lovely divine women with me. Can I do introductions?
You can do
Are we ready
introductions,
for
sis.
Are we ready for introductions?
Yes, we are.
All right. So, you are now tuned in. I have with me Lahari Jones. I'm going to let you tell a little bit about yourself, but not just Lahari Jones. Let me tell you who else is in the studio, coming all the way from Florida. Florida. We also have Kiona. Kiona is affectionately known as Lady. Throughout this podcast on today, we're going to be relaxed. We're going to get deep. We got our tissue. We may cry, but we're going to do a whole bunch of laughing, and it's going to be a freeing episode. So let's get started. I want to introduce to you the ladies of the hour. The ladies of the hour, Lahari Jones and Lady. Listen to me when I pronounce this episode, and I want you to tell me both what you decided to do with this episode. This episode, I want to get it right. Let me get it right. This is the blueprint, how to have a healthy relationship between mom and bonus mom. You did not hear me say stepmom. We do not say stepmom. Because what is a stepmom? What do? You step over her? No. Mom and bonus mom. Let's introduce yourselves, ladies.
Well, hello, everyone. I am Lahari Jones, and I am so excited for me and Lady to be sharing our journey, a journey of 18 plus years. This is something that we have talked about for many, many years, and timing just wasn't on our side then, but timing is on our side now. And I think it's so important for us to share how women can get along,
Yes.
and women can be family, and women can uplift each other. And that's what we're here to do, because we're not only doing it for ourselves, but this is something that we have instilled in our child,
Yes.
our daughter. She's not just my daughter, she's Lady's daughter as well. And so we are just here to share our story with you.
Powerful story indeed. Lady, introduce yourself to our listeners.
Hello, I am Kiona Barnwell, and like she said, affectionately known as Lady. I have been called Lady basically all my life. The name was given to me by my grandfather because he could not pronounce Kiona, so he would call me his little lady. And that name was given to me like days after I came from the hospital. So it's stuck with me. It's been with me all my life and will continue to be with me. So definitely feel free to call me Lady. And basically, like Lahari said, this message that we want to put out to everyone, women and men as well, because the men play a role because they were a part of the creation of the child.
Absolutely.
So we definitely, want everyone to be able to take something away from this. If you are expecting to hear some dirt and some mess, you're really not going to get that from us here, because we haven't experienced that. But what you will get is keys to be able to unlock your doors and bring it into your homes, into your relationships, so that you can have a good and healthy and positive relationship with the woman that is in the life of your child. So that is definitely something that I want everyone to be able to take away from this.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Let's just dive right in. I think you brought up a good point when you said healthy, right? Because we understand what dysfunction looks like. I have never seen these two anytime during the relationship have any dysfunction. We were prepping last night, and again, this is full transparency. What we want to give you is the real, the raw, the beautiful, and the ugly truth. It's not a whole bunch of ugly. But what we were perfecting last night was just making sure the relationship in the podcast was going to be organic. And I brought up a question to both of you ladies. They didn't answer my question. I said, can you tell us about dysfunction, or can you tell us about toxicity in the relationship if you've ever experienced any toxicity? And they was like, what? I said, you heard. They said, what? No. And it's real. So I'm not going to start with that question because y'all didn't answer it last night. Why would y'all even think about answering it today, right? The question I want to start with is, how did the journey begin? Lahari, lady, y'all talked about this has been something that y'all have been wanting to do for a while. So I want to thank you for allowing me to sit here and actually interview you both, because this is an interview. This is live. This is not uncut, right? It's raw. What I want to ask you is, where did you meet? How did you meet? So, Lahari, I'll start with you. How did you meet Sean? India came about, and then tell me how you met Lady.
So how I met Lady. So I heard about Lady first
Okay?
before I met her, and um, me and Sean were no longer together, but we co-parented very well, and it
Go
was
back. You did what?
co-parented.
Look right
very-
there in the mirror,
we
in the camera.
co-parented very well,
Co-parent. It's a thing. Go ahead.
and so we knew that each other were going to eventually be in another relationship, but we made a pact with one another that if you were going to bring another woman into your life and I was going to bring another male into my life, it was important that we met that person, because if knowing who we are, we knew that that person was going to be a staple in our life.
That's right.
And we weren't just going to have anyone around our daughter. And so India was going to go to meet her dad for the weekend. And so I'm getting her ready at home, and she was like, oh, mommy. And she like, too, is the lady going to be there? And I was like, lady? What lady? And so she too, so she don't really understand. And so I got my phone, called her daddy, and I was like, Sean. So India said is a lady going to be there? And he was like, oh, that's my friend, and it's kind of getting serious. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Just make sure she's in the car when you pick India up. And he was like, okay, cool. And so met at our meeting point in Greensboro, because Sean was in Cary. We were in Charlotte, and she and I connected instantly. We didn't have a lot of conversation, just, hey, how you doing? But I saw how my daughter responded to her.
It's important.
And she responded to her like she responded to me. And so I knew from that moment that she was a good person, but I already knew that my daughter's father was not going to have just anyone around his child. So I already knew, just because of the relationship he and I had, that she had to be about something.
Yes.
Because of who he is. And so we clicked from that moment. It was something about her energy. Like I said, we didn't have a long conversation, but it was something about her energy that it was the chemistry already there. And that was my first encounter with who I call affectionately my baby mama.
That is baby mama.
That's baby mama.
Baby mama, we're coming straight to you. Before we go to you, though, I want to go back and ask Lahari a question. When we were talking, you said that Sean wasn't a slouch, so you knew that he was not going to be dealing with a woman who was a slouch. And I want to preface that by saying, this woman who's on camera, she stood 10 toes down. She didn't have any children when y'all met, right? Mm-hmm. So now you're going to hear from Lady, and she's going to tell you about what that looked like. Lady, can we hear from you?
Yes. So the first time when Lahara and I met, like she said, we had a brief introduction, but it was very cordial. It was very polite. When Sean let me know that she wanted to meet me, immediately I thought, I'm like, okay, no problem. And it wasn't any ill feelings or anything. I didn't go into it with, oh, I'm his woman now. It was none of that, because I had to look at, when I assessed it, I had to look at it from a perspective like, what if it were me? I definitely would want to meet the woman that's going to be in my child's life. So, I had to acknowledge that. And, like she said, when we met, it was natural. It was genuine. It wasn't anything, flaw. We didn't put on for each other. None of that. We said our hellos. We introduced. Matter of fact, I think you might even embrace me.
I did. You know, I'm a
I
hugger,
think
so I hugged
you
you.
told me
Yeah.
because it was like, hey, and I think that kind of set the tone for us to move forward.
Yes.
So it was good. It was a good meeting, and it wasn't really a meeting. It was just us meeting each other.
Hmm.
So was that a time that you had to do an exchange? Because what I'm asking right now is you were the girlfriend. You
Hmm.
asked Sean, who's the father of your child, bring her along. Because at that point, were y'all involved? Was it deep enough? Because if you heard your child say, hey, is the lady going to come? You had been around her. Is that right?
Well, it had to have been deep enough because Sean would not have had her around India anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I knew that she was someone special in his life
Bring her.
for him to even have India around her. You know what I mean? So that's why I felt it was important that we met.
That's good.
You know what I
That's
mean?
good.
Because at the end of the day, um, people have to understand, and this is one of the things that I want women to understand that have children, and that their child's father has a child
Mm-hmm.
or the girlfriend. It's so important for women to understand that if you and that person are no longer together, they're going to move on,
Absolutely.
and you have to move on too. If you're harboring some type of ill will towards that person, and I think while you asked the about something being toxic yesterday,
Yes.
the reason why there's no toxicity in our relationship is because Sean and I didn't leave on bad terms.
Okay.
We knew that this relationship, let's just be friends. And we still sustained our friendship. So there was no drama.
Yep.
When I left, there was none of that going on. We still we are still best friends to this day.
That's what you said. Yeah.
And so we still cultivate that relationship. And so it just was so organic when Lady came along. So it wasn't any type of, it's just weird, you know what I mean? But I want people to understand, like, if you want to know how to have a healthy relationship, you got to be whole.
Healthy
You
yourself.
have to be healthy yourself,
Yes.
Yes,
and
sir.
you
Yeah,
have to
absolutely.
be able to understand that yes, this person has moved on, but I didn't look at it like this person trying to take my pace or Lady's trying to take. No, I looked at it as like there's somebody else to love our child.
That's good. That's good.
And if you look at it from that angle, that is somebody else to love your child. But if you're a toxic person, then you're going to bring that toxic stuff into that relationship. And thank God that that we have not experienced any of that.
Lady, how do you celebrate milestones, right? Because y'all are friends. So tell me what it looks like when you celebrate milestones. If she was 2 when you guys came together as a unit, right? I call y'all a trifecta. How do you celebrate birthdays? Talk to me a little bit about that.
Basically, we would always celebrate India's birthday by going to her. Her
Wow.
dad never. He was really big on him being present to celebrate all her birthdays.
Come on,
So
black
we
man.
always would go there. Lahar would, have her parties set up and everything. So we were always there. And I'm glad that I was able to be a part of that, just so that she could see us combined together, her mom, her dad, and her bonus mom, so that is basically how all the years she grew up until what she turned like 16, 17, and she didn't really want to be bothered with us no more. But for the most part, with her growing up, we were always there to celebrate with her.
You talked to me yesterday.
I just wanted to add
Oh,
one
go
thing,
ahead.
and it wasn't just about them showing up. Lady will always call, "What you need?
Yeah.
What we getting her? You need decorations? What we doing?" Always not just showing up, but helping,
Yes.
assisting, being the mom,
I
being
love
the
that.
other mom. Like when I talk to India, I don't even call her Lady. I'd be like, "Your mama."
Your mama.
You talk to your mom, and she'd be like, "Lady," and I'd be like, "Yeah, your other mama." So it's it's just so like it's the mutual respect we
Yes.
have for each other. And not only mutual respect for each other, but I have mutual respect for their marriage.
Yes, that's big too.
And
That's
so
big.
having respect for their marriage, and you know, we talked about something yesterday, and I know Tish might go there about a prevalent moment you had, lady, when you talked about when you invited me.
That's where I'm
Yeah.
going. So let's just steer in that direction. What I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
do is Lady had talked about that India was her child and Lahari said that she's her child as well. But Lady had talked about her parents, her mom, they receive India. And I'm India's aunt. So I'm like, that was major. Like it was just this light bulb moment. So then she
Mm-hmm.
said that she was riding down and Lahara was dropping her off. Please tell the listeners the story. Lady, I need you to
Okay.
give the energy that you gave to it yesterday. Tell us what you said.
Yeah.
What happened?
Now, at that particular time and in that moment, I knew at that point that we had a bond. It was more than a relationship, it was a bond. And as a woman, um, like Lahar said, you have to be whole within yourself. And
Yes.
when you are whole within yourself, things like this you can do. As Tish was saying, this particular day, Lahari had brought India to Florida and she drove down by herself. So, me being who I am, I immediately, told her because she was getting ready to get back on the road. I told her, I said, no, you getting ready to, no, we're not even, because my focus and my concern, she had gotten India to Florida safely. But my concern then shifted to her because I didn't want her getting back on the road tired and she go off the road because she done dozed off. And I couldn't have lived with myself knowing that she had driven all the way from North Carolina to Florida by herself and something would have happened to her.
That's
So I'm
major.
like, no, you go ahead. We got an extra bedroom in there. You can lay down, rest. Whenever you ready to head out, then you can go ahead and go. But and she was like, you good? I said, no, yeah, you come on and stay here. And I think for a woman to get to a place where you're comfortable enough saying that, and
Yes.
I didn't just say that just because or to throw weight around or anything. Like I was really concerned, and I wanted her to be okay when she got back on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And as an individual, you have to be
Mm-hmm.
at a place within yourself and at peace within yourself to even be able to go there with another woman.
That's
You're
empowering.
Yeah.
the woman, the mother of your bonus child.
Yeah.
So you have to be in a place that you can do that. And I wasn't thinking like, oh well, I don't want
Yeah.
um India's dad to go in there and talk to her or check on.
It's
That
getting
thought never
juicy
crossed
good. I
my
told
mind
you. Come
at
on.
all. Never crossed my mind at all. Like I said, my main focus was just making sure she was good for when she got back on the road. And like I said, as a woman, you have to really be in a good space within yourself. So, and that's what we're gonna help y'all with.
We
We
are
got you.
helping y'all right now. No, literally,
We
ladies,
got you.
I just thank you for even being vulnerable enough to, right,
Hmm.
expose. Some people say, oh, y'all exposing your dirty laundry. No, you're helping empower women, empower women.
Yeah.
Hurt people, hurt people. These women are
Oh yeah.
sitting here in a vulnerable sitting in a vulnerable position because they want to help. Society is being so mean, right? You can't catch a break these days. You have dysfunctional families. You have people who want to always put the things that are on the news that are wrong. So today, when
Hmm.
you tune in, they mention you're not going to see this narcissistic attitude. Oh, well, your baby mama just dropped your baby off and she can't stay here. You heard her say, come in. They embrace their first time meeting, they embrace. You want to know the blueprint? Both of them have on blue. This is the blueprint. So I hope you're taking notes. This is getting juicy good. I hope you're taking notes. Okay.
And I want to shout out my daughter's father, lady's husband, because, and we're going to do an episode with him
Yes.
so men can understand how it works from their angle as well. But I want to give a shout out to Sean because as the father of the child, and now you have a wife, you have to navigate these waters too. And from a male perspective, we can't answer for a man of how he felt during all of this.
Yeah.
And I think what made it so much easier for him is because of the relationship she and I had
That's
and the
totally right.
respect we have for each other. And at the end of the day, it's all about India. It wasn't about me.
Yeah.
It wasn't about Lady. It wasn't about Sean. It was about the love that
Child.
all of us have for her. And regardless of anything, we wanted her to see happy, healthy parents, whether he and I were in the same household or not.
Yeah.
She got to leave my household and got to go to a loving household. Because I'm single. I was a single parent. I wasn't married. So she didn't get to see her mom being married. But when she went with her dad, she got to see a marriage.
good exposure.
She got to see it from my mom and dad. So I, those are the things that were important because we kept her at the forefront of everything. And if you want to think about how to have a healthy relationship between mom and bonus mom, you have to put the child first
That's good.
Yeah.
That's
in
real good.
any situation.
And I just want to add to that as well. Even with touching on the subject of the men playing the part and being involved, and early on it was interesting because like it was a first for all of us.
Yeah.
You and Sean, y'all were new parents, so it was a first for y'all. This was y'all's first child. Um, I was, it was a first for me with being, directly involved with someone and having their child around on a consistent basis.
Uh-huh.
So it was a first for me. But one of the things that I had to not so much share with him, but we discussed, and I told him early on, I'm like, if your daughter, when she comes around, because I think he didn't, it was new. It was
Yes.
new. So it's like, okay, how are we going to, you
Yeah.
know, continue to make this stronger? And I told him, I said, you still have to show her that I'm special in your life too, because
Ah, that's big.
at one, because the thing was like, she would come and it was so funny because she was so tiny and little. And
She
when
always so
she'll come and like we might be sitting on the sofa watching TV. She'll come sit in between us with her little blanket that she still has with that blanket, and she'll look over at me like this is my daddy. So I told him, I said, I said we have to show her that I'm a part of you too.
Yes.
That's important.
And once he started, and it clicked, and he's like, kind of got around to doing that. And it showed her that she can be comfortable with me. And I think that set the stage with her being even more comfortable around me. Because, like you said yesterday, Lahari, she was a very stern little girl. Like, she wasn't just coming around and
Yeah.
being jumping in your lap and, hey, how you doing?
Looking
Yeah.
at
No,
you
that
side
wasn't
eye.
her.
Right.
Yeah, so I think with men, they have to, make sure that they show that person, especially if it's going to be something long term.
Yeah.
Make sure that they show their child that this person is special in their life as well. So that way they, it's not easy, that bond is not easily broken,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
the other person cannot infiltrate or try to turn that child against the other parent.
Yeah.
We
I
talked
think
about
that's
that last
very
night.
important.
When you said that you were interested in Sean after you guys started engaging in another relationship, you would not have been interested if he was not present in his child's life. So I wanted to kind of
Oh yeah.
switch gears and talk about what the background looked like because both of you may have come from healthy relationships or relationships with boundaries, and that's why you were able to put healthy boundaries in place. So Lahari, tell us a little bit about how you grew up. Like your mom and your dad, they were in the household, your boundaries. Tell us a little bit about like the love that you saw.
Yeah, so I grew up with my mom and my dad, and so when I never thought that I would have a child out of wedlock. Never imagined that that would be something that, because that's not what I saw. My grandparents been married for years. My parents were married until my father passed away, and so I never thought that I would encounter me being a single parent, but it happened. And so, now you're experiencing something that you never thought that you would experience.
Uh-huh.
And it makes you think about, what if I do get someone else? Like, how am I gonna incorporate this person into my child's life? And I think it's so much harder for a mom. And I can't answer for five. Just this is just my
Opinion.
own opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's difficult for a mom, especially if you don't want to have a lot of men around your child.
No, talk about that. Speak on
You
it, right?
know,
This is a free forum.
if because I've seen it where people have you,
Multiple.
multiple people in and out of their child's life, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
if that's not something that you want, I'm not knocking anybody.
Right.
If that's your decision that you want to do, but that's not something that I wanted for my child, nor would I want, because she had a dad
Yes.
who was president in her life, and I didn't want her to feel any type of way. And I did get into a relationship that didn't work out. The first man I had around my daughter, and it didn't work out. Thank goodness. But that's a whole nother story. That's another podcast,
Yeah.
child.
Another episode.
Another episode.
It's going down on Tish Talk.
But you know, when you grow up in a certain type of way, and then you're put in a position where you that's not you. You just have to learn how to navigate it. And I would not be able to do it without them.
Thank God. Thank God.
Without Lady and Sean, I would not be able to raise her, because I was able to get a break. I was
Yeah.
able to ship her off every summer and know that she was good.
Fine.
She even went to live with them her third grade year, which was a pivotal moment in Lady's life, because now Lady has to not only just be there for her in the summertime, now she's going to be a full-time mom. And so we had to have discussions around that.
Yep.
Like, Sean was like, Lady's fine with it, Lady's fine with that. But as India's mom and as your wife, Lady as being Sean's wife, I had to have a conversation with her to make sure she was good with that. Because of course she's gonna go along with her husband, because that's his child and her bonus child. But at the end of the day, that's being a full-time parent. And so I had to make sure, because of the love and respect I have for her,
Yes.
make sure that she was good. And I'm sure she would have more to add
Yeah.
to
Please
that.
speak on that too, lady. How did you feel about
Yes,
being a mom instantly?
during that time, well, I'll back up. With me growing up,
Okay.
I was raised by a single parent. My mother and my father, I was pretty much the opposite of Lahari with my upbringing. My mom was a single parent. However, my dad was there, but he was not there full time. I still experienced the love, the fun, just not wanting for anything. I still experienced those good things in my life because I had a support system of family members, my grandparents, uncles, aunts. So we are a very close knit family, and I had a good childhood. So with that, and during the time in that transition when India came to live with us, it was, for me, it was not so much scary, because she had come with us every summer, growing up. But I basically during that time did not want to disappoint. I wanted to make sure that I was going to be the best mother that I could be to her while she was in our care on a full-time basis.
And you
Because
said
it's
mother, not
different.
mother figure. You were the mother, full time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
it's different, like Lahar was saying. For the summer, it's all fun and y'all doing activities, you're going places, you're doing stuff for the summer.
Send them back home.
But I'm like, okay, this is it. This is it.
How do you incorporate your daughter going with you to get her nails done when you got to go get your nails done? It's like, what? I got to do that. How was your thinking
Yeah.
process?
But everything came so naturally because, like I said, with how my mother raised me and what she poured into me and the love and attention and affection that she showed me growing up, I was able to pour that into India.
Amen.
So the things that my mom did for me, like, I mean, we would sit up, we would read books, we would, I go get in her bed with her, and we'll sit and
Oh,
watch
that's so
a TV
precious.
show
Yeah.
or something like that. So those were things that my mom did for me. So I she didn't grow up with me like with Lahari, because Lahari was the full time parent for her. So she got to experience those things from her being an infant to a toddler to, preteen and so on. So
Ooh,
she got to
preteen.
experience those things within those different phases of her life. But I was able to utilize the tools and the examples that I was given
Uh-huh.
to be able to display that and to be able to share that with her. So it pretty much, for the most part, it came very natural, and it wasn't a struggle at all. I
Good.
mean, I think I was just more scared because it's like, okay, she's here on a full time basis.
Yeah. And it's the fear
And
of
I
the
just wanted to,
unknown.
Yeah.
It's the
yeah,
fear
and
of
I
the
wanted to
unknown.
just make sure that everything was good, and I mean, and it was. She had a good year.
She did. And
She
you'll
had a
be
good school. Yeah.
surprised that the naysayers.
I'm getting there. Don't you steal my thunder. You just hold on one moment. Now this is Tish talk. You want your own podcast? Go get Lil Harry talk. Give me a high five. I'm coming with the question
Come
right
on with
now.
the
Okay.
question, sis. Come on,
So
sis. Let's
this
go.
question is to you, Lahari. How do you handle the external pressures and opinions? Because everybody got them. It's like what it is. A butthole. Everybody got one. How do you handle the external pressures and opinions from extended family, friends, in society? People think that this is not real. This is real. How
It's
do you
real.
handle that? You have people questioning this all the time.
Yeah, so
Talk about
when
it.
I said, India gonna go live with her dad for her third grade year.
What do people say?
I mean, I had friends,
What?
you gonna go let her live with, I mean, you don't even know her, you don't know her like that. Like, she gonna go live with her daddy
First.
first, okay? And she has a relationship with her bonus mom second. And why in the world can I be afforded the opportunity to wake up to my child every single day
Right.
and not allow her daddy the same?
That's good.
Staying in the summertime is different from him being able to go to parent-teacher conferences versus being, whenever we had parent-teacher conference, I would have to call him on the phone and put it on speakerphone
Ah.
if he couldn't drive down from Florida to come. So being able to wake up to your child every single day, if she's sick, you get to cuddle with her.
Yes.
Like the things that I got to experience, why wouldn't I allow him to experience that? When Sean and I departed ways, India was 1 year old. And we made a decision to do that because if we no longer wanted to be in a relationship, we could have easily stayed in a relationship, but not even, and it would have got to a point we wouldn't even want to be around each other.
Uh-huh.
We made a decision. She don't even ever know of us even living together. All she knows is that my mama and my daddy get along. My mama, my daddy, and my stepmom can go out to dinner. We
Healthy.
can all go out to dinner, and it's not, when you talk about extended family. And so I didn't have too many naysayers because when it came, and I would just check them and let them know what time it was.
No, I know you would check them because I know your attitude has not always been this polished, right? Let me just tell you, we're friends. She would check you and check you, but I wanted you to talk about, because you did have people hating on the situation because
people
they
just
were
could
seeing
not-
it from a different lens,
Because
right?
people could not understand that this was real, and that how did y'all cultivate this relationship? And I'm telling you, we cultivated because we have mutual respect for each other. And I'm not
right.
trying. I don't want my baby daddy. That's number one. And a lot of relationships get misconstrued because people still have emotions for the other
Feelings,
person,
yeah.
whether it be negative feelings, positive feelings, or whatever the feelings may be. And they allow that to predicate how that relationship is going to be instead of focusing on the child.
Yes.
Because if I'm angry, I'm going to do everything to make you angry. You not paying on child support, or you not doing this. I would never put anybody on child support. And that's just me. Because I'm not going to beg nobody to take care of something that they made. We made this child together. And I am just thankful that I did not have to go through any of those things.
Okay.
And so everybody's situation is different. And so what we're here trying to do, nobody's situation is ever going to be picture perfect.
Right.
Nobody's situation is going to be that. But I think it's so important for people to understand that while your relationship may not be as tight as me and ladies, you can have a healthy relationship with the other person. You just have to make sure that the kid is
The center.
the center of
Yes.
everything. And if the kid is not the center of everything, it's just not going to work. Because if you put other people at the center, just imagine that broken child that you're raising.
The trauma.
The trauma
right,
that's
yeah.
gonna be. But if your child can see her dad, her bonus mom, and her mom all getting along, that's just an added piece to the puzzle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
Let me
right.
ask you, lady. Let me ask you this question. Thank you for answering that. You were so eloquently with that answer. What advice would you give moms and other bonus moms, lady? Because I will be honest, right? Being a wife, being a mom, I have a lot of children as well. But what advice would you give a mom with the relationship part? Because I know both of you, and y'all hang out. Like Sean or India don't have to be anywhere around. They on the phone with one another. You know, they texting, they sharing ideas, recipes, clothing, you know, all that kind of stuff. And it's real. So what advice would you give a struggling mom and bonus mom how to have a healthy relationship? How do you tell them to navigate that, lady?
One thing I would say is have your own mind.
Ooh, okay.
If people, come to you with negative thoughts, you form your own opinion. And that's one thing that I've always been able to do. I've always formed my own opinion of others, despite what someone else might say. So I think that is very important. And you have to be able to respect that other person. And not to say that everyone's relationship is going to be like me and Lahar's, because it may not. But you can be
That's
in
the
a
goal.
space. Yeah, that would be the goal. But you have to be in a space where you are able to put your differences aside.
Yes.
Because when another person comes into your ex's life, that person hasn't done anything to you. You really haven't even met that person
That's
yet.
true.
So you don't know the type of person that they are. And when you approach a situation from a negative perspective, that's not going to do nothing but fuel the flames even more.
Yeah.
Because to every action is a reaction.
Come on now.
So that person, and you approaching this person in a negative light, they're automatically going to be defensive.
Yeah.
No one's going to just let you come at them and you not get a response from them.
Yes.
Right.
So you have to step back, and if you don't do it right away, take a moment. And this is for, take a moment to reassess yourself. Take a moment to reassess yourself before you approach the situation, and maybe talk to the man first.
That's good.
Have a conversation with him first, and y'all get to a place to where you're able to then be in the same room with that other person, and y'all can have a conversation. You can get to know that person.
Yeah.
Some
We
people
got
can't
to
even
know
be in
each
the
other.
same room
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so you have to start with you.
That's good.
You have to start, and that's
Great
for
advice.
the mom and the bonus mom.
And the
Yeah.
daddy
You
too.
have to start with you, because some women that is the other person that's coming into the relationship, they may have the mindset like, oh, I'm the one, I'm that one. But you don't have to be like that. You do
Yeah.
not have to be like that.
And it's the
You can
insecurities,
still-
right? It may be some insecurities or the flaws,
Yeah.
because really people send their representative. But y'all's relationship has been this from the beginning.
Yeah, yeah.
It will be
And
this
I
in
have
the
never,
end.
yeah, and I have never, had that mindset.
Yeah.
Not one time have I ever had that mindset like, oh, I got him now, he
Oh,
mine,
no.
and da da da.
Yeah.
That's
No,
not even your
that has
disposition.
never, and that's not even my personality. It just, like Lahar said, everything that we have experienced with each other as women has been genuine, and it has been natural. And people might find that hard to believe, but it is what it is. I mean, we can't give you something that
We ain't
we
got
haven't experienced.
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we can't give you no dirt if it ain't none.
Yeah, you
right.
talked about being a single, excuse me, coming from a single family household, and you talked
Mhm.
about your father. And I think one
Mhm.
of the beautiful things that we all need to recognize is no matter what you go through, sometimes people, your children, they're not fighting their own demons. As parents, we may place our
Mhm.
demons, our generation of curses on the child, and that's
Mhm.
not fair.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Lady, you said that you and your father didn't have, y'all formed a really great relationship. He was in the house and out the house and things like that. And you were there, you didn't hurt for nothing, but you saw your mom as this superhero. And that's how you showed up. Like, I can see you showing up with your cape
Yeah.
because that's how your mom showed up for you. So it wasn't about your father. It was about you showing up the way you wanted someone to show up for you. Lahari, I know you show up for your children, your child. You got a lot of kids, my kids, your kids, everybody. But you show up the way you want people to show up. So what I want to talk about right now is the man that's in both of your life, the
Mhm.
man that's in India's life, and you can't speak for Sean, but tell me what it is about him that made you realize and you realize at the end of the day, India is what's important. Because
You,
he had to set a standard. He had to.
you know, he is both of our only child. He doesn't have any children or any other children. I don't have any other children. And when I got pregnant, Sean never wanted a son
Oh, wow. I
because
told you it was going to get juicy
he
good.
always wanted a girl because he said, him being a black man in this world, he was like, my son will come out with two strikes against
Against
him
him.
immediately because he black and a male. And so he always wanted a girl. And so I remember when we at the hospital and it's time to take, I'm gonna back up because this nurse kept saying, "Oh, she is just so beautiful. I'm gonna take her home with me."
Oh, oh.
And she said that one too many
Wait a
times.
minute.
And lady know her
Okay.
I
husband.
kicked the mic.
He said that one too many times,
Uh-huh.
and he
That was
told that
hilarious.
nurse, "You got one more time to say something about
Yeah,
taking
he
my
don't play.
child,"
Oh
because he
no.
literally took it literally, lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Your husband
Yeah, I
child.
can see that. I can see
And
that.
so we packing up, and he was like, "She's so little.
Oh.
What we gonna do?
Oh.
We about to take her home,
Yeah.
and we gonna raise her."
Yeah.
And
There's
so
no blueprint on how to
there's
be a
no
parent.
blueprint on
At
how
all.
to be a parent.
Right.
But at this point in time in my life, even when I was pregnant, like I was at a point where I can't do this relationship no more. Like transparency, this is in
Yeah.
full transparency. And I said, yeah, so I think we should end this relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, can you and India stay here her first year of life?
Ah.
Because I want to bond with my baby.
That's huge.
Absolutely, we can. Had I been a person who was just ready to go and just not even consider him,
Mm-hmm.
I considered him because he's her father.
That's right.
And the first year of a child's life is the bonding moment for both parents. So why wouldn't I afford him that opportunity? And so that was the bonding time for them. And they have been bonded ever since. Now, Sean struggled with letting India grow up. He's a daughter, his only daughter.
Yes.
And so in his mind, she was 5 when she was 13. So it was, and it was so crazy because, and this, this is when sometimes I would just call lady and be
Yeah.
like, "Girl, talk to your husband."
Yes.
Because he over here tripping, Indy over here crying because he won't let her go with the cousin or whatever. Talk to your husband. And so this is where, and this is what is so fulfilling as a mom,
Mm-hmm.
that I can call her bonus mom and be like, talk to your husband.
That's right. That's
Talk
right.
to my baby
There's
daddy.
no filter.
Make him see something else. You know what I'm saying? Because when you have someone who's from the outside kind of looking in at certain dynamics, then they can see something different. And so I'm telling you, lady, been my lifeline a whole lot of times. I'd be
Ooh,
like,
I
girl,
like
you
it.
better
Like
get your
voice
husband.
is easy.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeedy.
So, lady, let me ask you this, and you can butt in anytime because I know we're here in the studio. And as my studio
Okay.
guest, I want to make sure that everybody feels really, really great. So, anytime you want to tell me to stop, guess what? You can say, Tish, stop talking. Okay. This question is for you.
Mm-hmm.
What is the legacy that you hope to leave behind? And let me set it up. I preface it by saying this. India calls you. She says, Mom, he has found me. I think I met the one. Do you both envision both of y'all walking her down the aisle? Like, talk to me about what that legacy looks like when your baby becomes of age to get married. Talk to me about that because you are married.
Well, first of all, she got to go through Papa Bear.
Oh, well, this is what I'm
Okay.
Honey,
saying.
the young
That
man
part.
is gonna have to get the stamp of approval.
Yes.
But when that time comes, I'm sure we will embrace it.
Yeah.
And as any parent wants their child to have the best and to have a man in their life that is going to cherish and love them. So with that, and he gonna have it three ways.
I'm telling you. I'm
Listen, he
telling
gonna have,
you.
like you say, the trifecta. He gonna have the trifecta. So
Yeah.
whoever he may be,
Trifecta. Look at
is
me
going
throwing
to
them together.
definitely have
Why
to,
not?
he's gonna have to be on point
He
because
definitely is going to have to be on
the
point.
expectation, the bar is set very high,
Yeah.
not only from Lahari and I, but with her dad.
Yeah.
And India sees the type of man that her father is.
That's going to
So
be
of course
hard.
yeah, she is definitely going to, she's, I'm sure, going to be picky when that right one comes along. He's going to have to really show her
And her
Yeah.
that.
grandfather, I want to add Mr. Jones,
Oh yeah,
may he rest in peace.
absolutely,
Let me just say this. Now,
absolutely,
he was a man's man. So
yes,
she is going to have someone in her life that probably represents both of them. Would you say that?
oh yeah,
That's what I
yeah,
pray for.
Yeah.
You
mhm,
can't choose your children's
Mate,
life.
yeah.
You can provide the foundation and instill good morals and values, but ultimately you can't walk their life. You can't
You
live
teaching me.
their life for them. And so we pray that whomever India ends up with is going to be an upstanding person. That's all I can pray for, because she has the examples to go
Yes.
by, and
mhm,
and I know India never wants to disappoint her daddy,
Yeah, that's so sweet.
ever. Period. She never
yeah,
wants to disappoint her father, but you never want to disappoint something that means something to you,
That's the truth.
and you never want to disappoint something that was in your life, and that was part of the foundation. And when you talk about the blueprint, that's part of the blueprint.
That's
It's him
good.
being a present in her life, not just me, lady and I building a healthy relationship, but he being a cornerstone and something that has been a driving force in her life, till he don't have no breath
Breath in his body.
left in his body,
I
because
knew
that's
you were
his only
going there. I knew you
baby
were
girl.
going
Yeah.
there simply because I'm a daddy's girl. I was until my father passed away. And, this is a real show, so we're going to get real and raw. The emotions, sometimes you fight back the tears, but when you have healthy relationships, you do want to make sure that the man that's in the child's life, they have a say. My dad told me when I was getting ready to get married, I didn't have to go. You talked about your daughter wanting not to disappoint her father. It wasn't my mother that I was so much worried about. Well, yeah, it was her. You got to know my mom. But it was my father because I did not want to disappoint him.
Yeah.
I had just graduated from college, and here it is, this man finding me. And, next thing you know, we married, popping out kids. But the whole time, I wanted my dad's approval. I don't know if that was the broken little girl in me. But what I'm saying is, lady, I can relate to what you're saying because whether my father was in the household or out the household, I never, ever, ever, like India, wanted to disappoint my father.
Yeah.
And that's the first real relationship. I have both, right? I have sons and I have daughters. But if you do the research, statistics show that the very important relationship is the mother son dynamic, and then the father daughter dynamic.
Yeah.
That's the most important relationship.
Yeah.
So I know Sean's a good father. I know him personally, and he has done an awesome, amazing job. Both you all have. But so now I want to take time so that way you can actually engage one another on the Tish Talk Show. Engage one another. Is it anything that you would like to ask of Lady, or a lady that you would like to ask Lahari, so that way you can help the people who are watching and tuning in to understand what this blueprint, how it came about, what it's about?
Before we go there, the one thing I did want to shout out is to our extended family,
Oh yes.
to our friends and family that have supported this trifecta from the very beginning.
Yes, that's important.
My mother, my father, my sisters,
Call names
my
on our
brother
show, honey.
Ebony Rayner. You know, I sent them a text today and said, you know, we're doing this. We finally sharing our story, and I want to thank my family for being so supportive of our relationship.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get emotional.
Okay, don't you start. I got my little
I want
tissue.
to, you know, thank them for being so prevalent in supporting this, because we weren't. This was something new.
Yeah.
You know, like I said,
It's
I was
hard.
a single parent, and so, and then, you know, Lady's family, and I shared this when India was like 5 years old, and she had come from Florida in the summer, and she said, you know what, Mommy? I have so many people that love me. She said, I got my family, I got my daddy family, I got Lady family. And as a mother, to have another woman in your life who loves your child. Lady don't have any kids, but she does. Indy is her child. And for her to embrace her, and not only Lady, but her family,
Yes, that's big.
and her mom and her best friends, like India, those are her aunties as well.
Yes.
She has such a, and Sean's friends,
Big village.
her uncles, like she has such a huge extended family that love her. And we could not have done that if we didn't have this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
None of that would be there for
Would
her.
have been in existence.
It wouldn't exist. And so I would have been remiss not to shout out our family and our friends, my Aggie family.
Aggie
Pride. Gotta give
Listen,
out
that's
Aggie
really
Pride.
what the blue is about. They didn't give me the memo. Can we be
You know,
clear?
we're
Let's
trying
just
to
be
get it
crystal
wild,
clear.
But
my baby mama went to a HBCU too, so we're
Yeah.
gonna let her shout
I
out
don't
her
even have on my
HBCU.
Well,
Aggie blue. How
Wildcat.
could you do me like that? No Aggie blue.
But yes,
Yeah.
you know, and I know Lady probably wants to talk
Yes.
about her family and friends and their love and support.
Yeah, absolutely. I am thankful that, you know, I had the support system that I had, and without a shadow of a doubt, from the first time I brought India to my hometown and around my family, they fell in love with her. They embraced her and pretty much just treated her like she was biologically mine. So with that, it was not a issue with her being left with my mom, because she would spend a lot of time with my mom as well and be her little helper. But she would spend time with my mom. She, you know, would come around my aunts, my uncle, my aunts, my cousins, my friends, my community, the community that I grew up in, pretty much embraced her.
Yeah.
Just from day one. So again, it was just natural for her to be accepted and for her to be loved by the people that were in my life,
Yeah. And
or
you know,
that are in my life, and
it's-
still are in my life.
it's such a, and that's the beauty of it, when you know your friends, when I can think back, you know, Tanya and Michelle and Shala would be like, I just can't believe,
Yeah.
you know, I love the relationship that you all have.
Yeah.
And just to be able to be a part of that is so important, because I think, because when people see that, guess what they do? They go tell the story.
Yeah.
They gonna tell the story. The first time me and Lady talked about, and our book gonna come.
The book is coming.
The
That's what
book
we're
is
getting
coming.
to. Oh,
Hello.
we're
Yes,
giving all the
yes, it
And
is.
plugs.
and so I had posted a picture on Facebook, and it was a picture of me in India by ourselves, Lady in India by themselves, and India and her dad. And I put it on a collage, and I just wrote just a paragraph about the love I have and the how our relationship is, and the number of responses that we got. And this was years ago.
Yeah,
This
I
had to
remember
have been
that.
like 10 years ago. The number of people that responded and wanted to know this,
How?
wanted to understand the blueprint. How do you have a healthy relationship? How are you all able to maneuver, and how are you all able to manage? And that, like I said, that was over 10 plus years ago. And now I think to tell the story, we've been waiting for this moment for so long, because we feel like it is so very important for people to
For a
understand that.
time such as this, timing is
And
Yeah.
everything.
yeah, and not only that, even during that time when you posted that, um, there were even responses of women saying, "I wish I
Had
had
that, yeah.
that." Because you have so many people that don't have that good relationship, that positive relationship, and probably want it, but don't even know how to start it up.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
So
why y'all are
know,
here.
Yeah.
and we're we got a lot of good feedback from that. People were saying they admired us for the relationship that we have, and just wanting to be able to break those barriers within the relationship with the mother and the father, and them being in the middle of that relationship. So
I feel
it's
honored to
definitely,
do this because y'all know
yeah.
me. I'm big on family, right? And the reason why I pulled this out because you heard them mention that they have a book that's getting ready to come out. Y'all, they have already written the book. Like they got
We
chapters
not
and
finished yet. We
everything.
got chapters,
They
but we
got
not
chapters.
done yet. We gonna get there. We
That was
not
a
done
small
yet.
Yeah,
shameless plug.
yeah, we a work in
We
progress.
appreciate that.
But what I wanted to talk about real quickly is beyond the makeup, right? Sometimes you have to go beyond the veil. And if you know me, this podcast came from the birthing of the book. Last night we were on the line and I talked about not dropping their baby. The blueprint, I'm just the midwife for them to give birth to this whole project. This is a movement. Let me lean in real close. Okay, let me lean in. This is not a message. This is a movement. I implore all of you to get a baby mama and get along. If you
Yeah.
have kids, if you have a baby's father, you want to get along. And I just want to read this excerpt really quickly because this is about, I'm going to let you read it. I just want you to read that right there. What does that say? What's that first line?
Girl, wear your glasses,
Here,
child.
see
You
if you
know.
can read those. Literally, this is
Better
how
you
things
than me, because I
perpetuate.
Oh,
showed
I
you
can't
mine.
see. Oh, child.
Right there.
I feel there is a
Uh huh. Say
blueprint.
that one more time.
I feel there is a blueprint for great friendship.
This is what this was. I wrote this book maybe 3 years ago.
3, 4 years ago.
What I'm saying is the blueprint has
Yeah.
its own identity. This blueprint here is what you are going to need if you want healthy, successful relationships. And I wanted to make sure you understood who I was, okay? Let me just tell you who I am. We got 2 minutes. And before we wrap up, I am going to say this. Beyond the makeup, I am a mom. I am a wife. I am a daughter. I'm a sister. I'm a friend. I'm a business mogul. I am a fashionista. Okay?
How?
All right. I'm a modern day Renaissance woman who really does not have time to play games. I stand on business. Beyond the makeup is a guide for balancing self, faith, family, love, and relationships. We want to thank you for tuning in and tuning into this podcast because we love deeply. All three of us, the women that are sitting here, I called them powerhouses when we first came on. These women are powerhouses. They're very successful in their own right. They're in corporate America. They have their own businesses. I ain't going to give you all the goods. You got to tune in for part two. Okay? But what I
Right.
will say is they have had to work hard to cultivate their relationship. It's truly about working hard. If it's important to you, work hard to cultivate meaningful, lasting relationships.
Can I add one thing, Tish?
Absolutely.
as you're sitting here talking about beyond the makeup, I think that for women to have healthy relationships with the bonus mom, you got to look beyond the
You
makeup.
got to.
You have to
That's the
pull that
point.
mask off.
That's the point.
And to ladies' point, you have to be willing to have the conversation. If you don't know that person, you can't not like them.
You can't judge them.
Y'all can end up
Right.
being best friends, but you have to look beyond the makeup, look
Beyond the
past all
veil.
those other things, and truly look within yourself and say, how can I have a healthy relationship with the other woman? What can I change about myself to be able
That's
to,
right.
to do
How
that?
can I have a relationship? How can I have a healthy relationship to me? Shameless plug again. You got to get the book because it's really, 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 really
And
important.
I would like to add also before we wrap up, I just want to say for anybody that is struggling and feels like, no, I don't feel like I want to have the relationship, put your pride aside.
That's right. That's good.
Put your pride aside and try to have a relationship. Start somewhere. If it's nothing but you communicating with the father and getting it to a place to where you all can come to the table together.
Yeah.
And again, the ultimate goal, you don't have to be that woman's best friend. I look at Lahar and I's relationship, and I always have said, if the circumstances were different
Uh huh.
and Sean and our daughter India were not in the equation, she is somebody that would be my homegirl. Like
What we
I could
talking
really
about?
vibe with her
Yeah.
if I just met her and didn't know her without the circumstances that we have now. She
Absolutely.
is really somebody that I could see as a friend because I got to know her, and with getting to know her, we have really established a fond bond and respect and love for each other as women.
Yeah.
It's
And you
unbreakable
heard me
too.
say
Yeah.
love,
It's it's really
we really
no.
have really we're in that space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're really in that space, and we're not best friends, but we do have a respect and admiration for each other,
Yeah.
and
She's
that's important.
We
So put your
family.
pride aside.
we are family. She's really easy to get along with, and I say this because Lahari and I, I started my entrepreneurship journey at North Carolina, the illustrious North Carolina Agriculture and Technical State University. So at A&T, I needed someone to practice on, right? And I'm gonna hold my book up.
Hold your book up, sis.
I needed someone to practice on, and she allowed me to practice on her. Do you remember
Yeah,
that?
you will come over to the
I
house.
would come over to her house. What was the address?
1010 Union. Shout out to 1010.
1010. I would go to 1010 and we did these makeup classes and she was coaching and she was like, well, I don't wear all that stuff. I'm like, be quiet. Just let me put it on your face. But then she would talk about, 10 years, 15 years down the road, she would talk about Lady. And when I met Lady, I'm like, she's a lady. Like, I mean, just beautiful inside and out. So I can see why y'all get along. I can see why the sisterhood is there. You talked about not being best friends, but it's not pretentious either. Y'all don't have to pretend about being best friends. Y'all are family. At
Yeah.
the end of the
Yep.
day, they are family. And before we close, is it anything else that y'all want to add? Because I'm going to read us out in prayer.
I don't want. I just want to say thank you,
Oh.
Tish, for allowing us to tell our story on your platform. When Lady and I were talking about this, and I had said, you know what, Tish is going to, because not only is Tish a wife, a mom, she's also a bonus mom, so she
Yes, I
understands
get it.
things and she gets it. And so I just want to thank you, because this is the first of many,
Yeah.
and for allowing us to share our story with you. I really appreciate you.
People don't
Yes.
understand our relationship or our friendship, and it's not y'all business. But we go way back. How many years?
Since 1993.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yep.
so that's a lot of years. But what I do want to share and encourage you, before we leave, each one of us are going to give you 1 to 2 words of encouragement. So think about your words, ladies. Think about your words, okay, really quickly. The word of encouragement to my audience that I want to leave you with is empowerment and motivation. Find ways to do self motivation, find ways to empower yourself. Yes, I'm a life coach. Yes, I'm a business coach. But one of the things that I can reassure you is you wouldn't have healthy relationships if you don't find how to empower yourself. Find ways to empower yourself. What are your two words?
My two words are going to be perseverance and foundation.
Ah, foundation. I like it.
And so perseverance is you whenever you think that you can't do something, you can persevere towards it. If you have a goal, persevere towards it. It may take like we've been persevering towards this moment for many, many years, but don't give
Yes.
up
Don't.
Yeah.
because my second word was foundation. Because when you set that foundation, everything else is going to be sturdy. It's not going to fumble. It's not going to crumble. It's not going to fall. So once you set that foundation, the blueprint we set in the foundation to help women understand how they can have healthy relationships
That's
between the
right.
mom and bonus mom.
That's
We're
right.
setting the foundation, and there's going to be more to come.
Lady, close us
My
out.
two words, my two words are peace and strength.
Ooh,
Peace for being at peace within yourself,
that's good.
knowing who you are, and not letting anyone deter you from what you are trying to accomplish, who you are trying to be within your life. I feel semi accomplished, and I don't even feel like I'm all the way where I want to be,
Yes.
because even with this is a beginning for us.
Just
This
the
is a new chapter in our lives.
just the beginning.
So being at peace within yourself and knowing who you are and being able to move forward with things that you're trying to accomplish, I feel is very important.
Now,
And then
go
for
ahead.
strength, and as far as the strength, you have to be strong for whatever trials may come your way,
Amen.
whatever tests, whatever obstacles, because there will be challenges. However, you will have the strength to be able to overcome anything that comes your way as long as you believe. Believe in
Amen.
God and believe in yourself.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. And on that note, this last thing I'll say is at the end of the day has to end. But make sure that you're on your knees. Put your tennis shoes at the way back under the bed. And that's to force you to get down on your knees. And every time you get down on your knees, say a prayer to God, because right now it is definitely a lot of turmoil that's going on. But what I would like to encourage you to do is to log in. This is not fake. This is real. So I'm gonna ask these ladies to give their social media handles, and you can follow them. So, lady, give your social media handle if you would like to, because what you guys are doing is creating conversations. You're creating a buzz, and I want to give our audience an opportunity to hit you up in your Facebook or chat with you if they want to chat with you, if you don't mind.
Well, me, I'm a dinosaur when it comes to
She's
social
a
media.
dinosaur. So we're gonna get her up to speed. We got our cameraman here. We're gonna
However,
get you up to speed. But would you
we will definitely be creating
yeah, we
a
could circle back.
page. Yeah, we will definitely be creating a page, because we want to invite
That's right.
women to have a conversation with us
Yeah.
Yeah.
from all walks of life. So the page is definitely to come,
That's right.
and we will be putting that up, and we will have that for everyone to be able to chime in and communicate with us, and we're going to have some good dialogue.
Oh, it's gonna be
Absolutely.
good. Part two is gonna be
Absolutely.
good. You want to give your handles?
Yes, so my IG is L Jones 1227. My Facebook is capital L dot capital A dot space Jones on Facebook. That's it. I don't have TikTok, none of that other stuff. But yes, you can find me there. But like Lady said, we'll be creating just a Facebook page where people can go in, ask questions and that sort of thing, and just have a forum for women to continue this discussion.
This dialogue is so juicy good. I told you it was gonna be good. I told you it was gonna be good. My handles on Facebook, it's Lakertisha McIver. I'll spell that for you. Lakertisha Slade. That's my daddy's name, so I kept that. Slade McIver. MCIV as in Victor ER. You can look me up, Dr. Tish, on Facebook. My social media handle on TikTok and IG. It is Inside Tish Talk, and Tisha, no, it's Tish McIver. Scratch that. Tish Mac 7. Tish Mac 7. TISHAMAC 7.
Seven.
That's what it is. Thank you
Yes,
very
that's
much.
what it is.
Thank you so much. That was a lot. We unpacked a lot. I want y'all to
Yes.
lean into the conversation. Be sure to log in. We have more coming. You do not want to miss an episode. Thank you. We love you a lot. And the one thing I want to say before we get off of here is never let the world make you not smile. So, ladies, let's show our flashy whites, pearly teeth. Don't let the world steal your smile. Have a blessed,
Absolutely.
wonderful, and awesome day.
Thank you.
Happy Tish
Thank
Talk.
you. Thank you, Tish.
Bye. You're welcome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Of
Thanks,
course.
lady. Love you.
Bye.
All
Love you,
right. Love you
lady.
too, hon.
See you in
We
Florida.
did it, girl.
Flow
We did it.
rider.
This is
We
the
did
beginning.
it. Yay. Peace.